Well, that's a good start. At least I actually fit it into the frame. Now, most of you will have worked on a widescreen monitor before with about a 16:9 ratio. Well, this thing frankly embarrasses anything that dares to call itself widescreen. The new Acer Nitro 49 Ultrawide 120Hz monitor is frankly a bit of a beast. With a whopping 32:9 ratio, you're looking at double the screen space of something like a standard 16:9 1080p monitor. This thing is absolutely insane. With a resolution of 3840 by 1080, this thing is the equivalent of having two 1080p monitors lined up right next to each other. For those of you who are into dual monitor setups but don't like the bezel down the centre, this is absolutely perfect. And for gaming, well, look at the thing. Immersion at its finest. Some of its main competitors include the Samsung Odyssey range. I know Dell do quite a few ultrawides as well. Something to note, this compared to the Samsung Odyssey, this can regularly be found for around about the £750 mark. I paid £600 because it was an offer, whereas a Samsung Odyssey, mostly you're going to be looking at a price north of £1,000. Now you do get a little bit more for that extra. You do get a 1440p screen, or rather a dual double 1440p screen, but it is the same ratio, 32:9. Now, something that these monitors are often sold on is their curve. This monitor has maybe got a slightly less of a curve factor to it than a Samsung Odyssey, but to be honest, I think from a reasonable sitting position, it's absolutely perfect. I've seen multiple setups with multiple Samsung Odysseys, 2 or 3. Obviously they're totally impractical, but something like that, you're more likely to get the monitors closer to you for a better field of view all round because of the greater curve. With something like this, you probably are better off, or better suited rather, to having just one in the centre. But in terms of workflow, it's great. In terms of replacing the dual screen, absolutely brilliant. And it's got a raft of other features as well, which do appeal to gamers and those of you who want this for workstations alike. I know you don't want to just see me navigate around a desktop all day. After all, this is an ultra widescreen monitor, so what better way than to go and play a game to demonstrate its ultra-wide capabilities and see what the immersion's like. So I'm going to try and play a game effectively from sitting behind the camera. That's totally my excuse for just being bad at this game. So you can see here in the video settings, it's picked up the resolution 3840 by 1080p. Obviously you've got a huge variety of options here, but that is native resolution for this monitor, so that should work best. If I just go for a practice with bots, because we'll be able to jump straight into a game then. Dust 2, one of the classic maps. Let's just go for it and see what happens. Alright, so what we're seeing here is absolutely classic. I've just tried to demonstrate it there. You can see a little bit of distortion around the edges. Okay, so what we're seeing isn't perfect imagery at the side. You've got that rushing motion as if it's coming towards you more quickly. I'm terrible at this game, so bear with me. So as you run past something, it feels like the sides are accelerating just because of it being sort of slightly stretched. I realise I should have bought a new weapon here, but hey, I'm really bad at this game. So actually, it's quite an effective gaming experience. It's a good job I set this on easy, wasn't it? It's actually quite immersive. The game is widescreen. What we'll see here is if I just move over to the left a little bit, I'll demonstrate that stretching like so. So as you can see, as that player sort of enters the side of the screen, he stretches. Try and do it on the side as well. And we'll move this over. You know, it kind of stretches out. Well, the gameplay is not bad. What I'll do is I'll back the camera up a little bit and hopefully you'll get a good view of the whole screen. My gaming is going to be very limited here because I'm going to have to stretch out behind the camera, but let's see what we can do. Right, like so. So you can see actually, it's to be honest, it's very good. very bad at this game. There we go. So kaboom. So yeah, actually it does provide quite a good gaming experience. Okay, I thought I'd try to give you a bit of a walkthrough of the menu functions. So as with any monitor, you've got the picture, kind of picture style, the colour, audio settings, kind of generic information like that, as well as facility in OSD just to move the on-screen display and the display around. In the gaming section, we've got overdrive, FreeSync, FPS rates and aim point as well, which is a manually toggleable aim point that appears on screen in the centre. Overdrive is for overclocking the screen, effectively overclocking the screen refresh rate from 120 Hz to 144. And FreeSync is part of AMD's technology, thereby it's meant to help reduce tearing on the monitor, particularly if you're running a game at say 100 FPS and the monitor's running at 60. A common feature of ultrawides, and it is apparent on this one as well, there is a picture-by-picture or picture-in-picture setting where you can connect two inputs, so a laptop, a desktop, or two desktops, etc. And treat the screen as if it's two screens, so you can have both machines output into the display at the same time. Picture-in-picture will have one display be the main image, and then the secondary display be one of the corners as a smaller area, so you can just see what's going on. Alternatively, the picture by picture is just having one screen alongside the other. It's just like having two 1080p screens. Something to note is that to enable this function, you actually have to have FreeSync disabled. So you can't have FreeSync enabled using two inputs. I'm having some trouble navigating around the menus here because the menu settings on the remote, whilst it is convenient to have the remote from a distance, it can start playing up. Maybe that's due to signal degradation. As you can see here, the monitor doesn't always enjoy having its settings changed on the fly. So I would anticipate if I've turned the monitor off and on at this point, or perhaps restarted my laptop, this would have worked correctly. All I did was turn off FreeSync, and what that did was effectively squashed my entire screen, the widescreen resolution, into the center 1080p or kind of 1080 pixels wide section of the screen. Again, not too sure why that is, but you can see the picture input, picture functionality working at the top left of the screen. Now what I will try to do is demonstrate the picture by picture, in which case the screen splits in half and you'll see the two inputs. So I'll just show you that now. And it works perfectly as intended. So you can see I've got my main monitor on the left, that's via DisplayPort, and then on the right I'm using HDMI 1 onto a different machine just to demonstrate the functionality of this. I've personally had some problems with the remote. So whilst it works well when the remote is right up to the screen, like this, if I'm standing at any distance, which, let's be honest, that's what you want a remote for, you can click buttons and it starts behaving not as expected. So for example, if I just hit OK and try to go into the menu and go down and go into a menu, go across, it starts performing quite erroneously. So you didn't see what happened there, but as I was trying to navigate back through the menu, it decided that I wanted to go up and down instead. So at a range where maybe the signal has degraded, it starts behaving oddly, is the best way of putting it. Not a deal breaker, but for a monitor that's £600 on offer and £750 standard, you expect more than that. So I'm a little bit disappointed with Acer in that respect. In terms of features, this monitor's got quite a few. So we already know the screen size, it's 49 inches, it's got a 32:9 ratio. It's also got a 3840 by 1080 resolution, which is, it's to be expected of this kind of monitor. It's not exceptional, but it's fine. It's got a HDR 400 rating, which means maximum brightness of 400 nits. This is considered entry level, so if you're looking for an HDR monitor specifically, I wouldn't bother. I'd go for something HDR 600 or above, but it is a bonus feature if you're not really necessarily making that a deal breaker. In terms of general kind of usage, it's 120 Hz overclockable to 144, and this will appeal to you kind of gamers out there who do want to get every kind of FPS that you can I'm not an avid gamer, I'm a casual gamer, and for casual gamers it's absolutely fine at 60 Hz anyway. That will work. It does come with 3 HDMI inputs, 1 DisplayPort input. Now the only HDMI input that is 2.0 is the first one, so just bear in mind you can only get kind of the full capability of the monitor using HDMI 2.0 or DisplayPort, so HDMI 1.4 on both of the ports won't work as effectively. This monitor does come with 2 integrated speakers, both of them 3 watt. It's satisfactory if you just need sound. If you're looking for any sort of experience, whether it be cinematic or gaming, I'd recommend you get a headset or external speakers, because the speakers in it just are pretty poor. You know, they're nothing more than you'd expect from a laptop. The stand is adjustable to a point. You can't raise or lower it, but you can alter the tilt, which is nice. But if you do want to raise the monitor, you will have to stand it on something or get your own VESA mount. But of course, it is VESA compatible. It isn't compatible with NVIDIA's G-Sync technology, but it is compatible with AMD's FreeSync, so it will be particularly beneficial to those of you with AMD-based graphics cards. Of course, sod's law, I haven't got one of those. Mine is NVIDIA-based, so I can't utilise that full technology, but I'm sure at some point in the future I'll bear that in mind. This thing does weigh quite a lot. It's 25.1 pounds. On its own stand, that's fine. You know, it's not really worth considering. But when you're buying a VESA mount, or if you want to buy a desk-mounted clamp, which is hydraulic and it'll raise it up and down, it is worth considering because some of the cheaper stands may not be compatible with this monitor. So, as a product, does this get my recommendation? Well, absolutely. For £600, I mean, clearly this is an entry-level ultra-wide monitor, and to compare it to a Samsung Odyssey, for example, you know, is borderline ridiculous. Really, the only similarity is it's ultra-wide. We wouldn't compare it in any other context. But yeah, for a £600 ultra-wide monitor, really very good. It's missing some of the better features like a 1 millisecond response and a HDR 600 or above, obviously only being 400 nit. But as long as you can look past that and the downright faulty remote, really, which I'm hoping that they fix in a future variant, I'm happy to recommend this product. For casual gaming, excellent. Competitive gaming, not so much. But if you want a casual gaming and a screen for a workstation, then absolutely excellent. It's a really clean alternative to a dual monitor setup, and I can't recommend it enough. This has been another review by Barenaked Tech. Remember, if you like this video, please hit the like button down below. If you'd like to see more similar content, then please hit the subscribe button, and then you'll get my content on your main screen, and you'll get to see more of this smiling face. That might put you off. But yeah, in all fairness, if you enjoy the content, please go and subscribe. There's plenty more coming. As always, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Take care.